The truth can hurt you, or the truth can change you. What will truth do to you?
Hello there, my beautiful and handsome listeners and viewers. How are you today? How has your day been? Mine has been beautiful because I have got a beautiful mind. You are welcome to your reality talk show, Beautiful Mind. This is the show where we say no to stigmas, discriminations and any judgmental attitudes. And our aim is to let people know that they do not need to suffer in silence when help is readily available. Beautiful Mind believes that everybody deserves respect regardless of their past or their present situation. So, you're welcome on board. Why don't you grab yourself a cup of tea, hot chocolate, water, coffee, soup, whatsoever that makes you feel comfortable. Please sit down and come along with us. And if you're coming back from work, driving and listening via our online radio, please drive carefully. And you know that you can comment and contribute on this show on 079-603-91983. I repeat that on 079-603-91983. And you can also send your views on your comments on our online Beautiful Mind Online on Instagram or on our Twitter, Beautiful Mind _Full Mind at Twitter. And you can also send your views and your comments on our Facebook page on Beautiful Mind Online. You are welcome to today's show. I am so excited. You can tell from the way I'm talking because this woman that I am sitting right beside, oh my God, you don't know when I have been praying and just seeking just to have her to be interviewed, and God has answered my prayer today. So this show today is going to be informative and educative. You do not want to miss it for anything. So please do not touch that dial. Please help us to share this video so that other people will benefit from what we are about to share today. And the topic again, wow, against all odds. This woman here, she's been through a lot. Wow, you know, I don't tell people's story. I believe you are the better person to tell your own story. And that is why she's here on today's show, to come and share her experience with us so that our pain, our mess can be your own blessing, so that the mistakes that she made, you will not be able to make that mistake. Wow. Thank you very much, Ma, for coming to bless us on today's show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so blessed to be here.
Thank you. Can you please introduce yourself to my viewers and my listeners?
Well, my name is Ikelepi Jackson. I am a mother of 7. I am happily married to a wonderful man called Colin Jackson. I'm also an author, an award-winning author. I'm an evangelist, an ordained evangelist, and I am a broadcaster. I am also a CEO of an organization called Against All Odds Still Standing charity. Wow. That's briefly who I am.
Wow. Wow. Thank you very much for coming to bless us today.
Thank you.
How do you manage to wear those hats, those caps that you have on yourself? A wife, a mother, an author, a CEO. You know, you have so many things that you're doing. How do you manage them?
I think by the grace of God, you know, when you have been through a season of pain, like I have, you begin to have an appreciation of the time we have on earth. We don't have much time, even though we always think we have so much time. So that teaches you, one, to be really grateful that you are alive. 2, it teaches you to actually balance your roles, as it were, because when you realize that, well, all you have is today, tomorrow is in the hands of God.
Wow.
So you do what you do today the best way you can do, how.
Wow, thank you very much for that. You can tell that from where that came from, a lot more is coming from there. She has come here to bless us today. She will be sharing our experience, our life story, and it is something you do not want to miss. Thank you very much, Ma, for what you've just shared now. What are you doing with your time? That is my first question to you, that you're watching us today. Do you think you've got the old time in your hands, and you think, you know, time will wait for you? Time, the same, will wait for nobody. So do what you need to do, and do not postpone it. Do it right now. That passion, that desire, that thing that you have always wanted to do, this is the right time for you to do it. You're welcome. My name is Adeyinka Adeomi, and I am your host on this beautiful program, Beautiful Mind, that comes live every Wednesday, 5 to 6:30. Please join us as we continue on today's show. What do you want me to call you? I think I need to ask that.
Think you choose.
Evangelist.
Evangelist Fikelepi is fine.
Okay.
Or just Mrs. Jackson or Fikelepi.
Mrs. Jackson.
Yeah.
I think I like that. Mrs. Jackson.
Okay.
Right. Can you please share with us what your upbringing was like?
Oh, wow. I was born in a very small village in a remote area, and I think I look back, even though I wasn't there as a baby, but it's like my spirit man was there. I can't explain it. So 3 months before I was born, my dad died. My dad was part of the political situation back then, apartheid as they know it. So when my mom gave birth to me, there was obviously all this sadness because my dad had just passed away. So it was like, well, Ufigelepi, how do you arrive? We are mourning, but you've just arrived. That's how my grandmother named Fikelepi. Now, as I grew up in the village, everybody had a mommy, a daddy, you know how it goes.
Yes.
So what happened was, as my mom was a widow, I beg your pardon, she decided to go to the city, and she took all the 6 children, I was the 7th then, with her. And as a result, I just was a little bit confused. Did my mom hate me? Why did she leave me behind? I mean, I used to see her quarterly, but I just didn't understand why I was left behind. So as I grew up, I had to ask my grandmother, where was my daddy? Where was dad or pa, as some people would call. My grandmother shared the story that, well, your daddy died fighting for freedom. So I thought, well, this freedom must be so important. But then he didn't finish because the war was still going on. So I took it upon myself as a little girl and joined a political party. And I became a chair lady of my youth. When you say youth, you're talking about little 10-year-olds and that. Yeah, but in that we got ourselves into a lot of trouble. So we had to leave the country. So for the rest of my part of my teenagehood, I was outside the country during the war. But when we came back during ceasefire, I then was like, wow, it's freedom now. But then I realized there was no freedom. And I really, really wanted to go back to school. And I kind of fought to get a scholarship with the United Nations.
Before you go into that scholarship bit, you can tell she's a presenter herself. She just wants to drive into it. But on Beautiful Mind, we take it step by step.
Yeah, okay.
You told me when I was doing the pre-interview with you that you had suicide thought, like, you thought you were a mistake. So what were the pains? Because some people might be, watching this right now and might be thinking, what has she said now? That, why, what made you think, what were the pains that you went through as a young lady that made you to come to that, conclusion?
The conclusion of wanting to take my own life, you mean? Wow. So as I journeyed on, I came back, and then it was when I met the father of my children that my whole life completely changed. I went through a lot. I went through a season of pain. Before you know it, obviously I was expecting my first son.
Wow.
And in my culture, when you have you become pregnant outside wedlock, it's a taboo, and it's something that brings shame to the family. In fact, they call it damage.
Wow.
And because of that, the father of my child had to own up. But at a time, he actually said, well, he wants to marry me, he wants to do this. So my brother, who was in place of my father, obviously my father is late, said to him, well, since she's pregnant, we can't discuss any lobola. We have a thing that they call lobola because you've damaged our daughter. So, of course, before I know it, I was pregnant with the second child. Before I know it, I was pregnant with the third child. So now here I was in a very deep abusive situation. And I'm not talking about just the beating, the physical one, you can see the scar and you would heal. But it's the emotional one that goes very deep somewhere in a place you can't reach. Yeah, so things did hit rock bottom.
Wow.
And I did not think life was worth living.
I would have thought that you are a beautiful woman. And I would have thought, when you were much younger, you'll be very, very beautiful. And you said you were like, a team leader for some teenagers. Again, I would have thought you were very, very intelligent. So I want to ask this, how would a beautiful and intelligent lady, fall in the hand of such a man?
Do you know what? It's amazing when you say you are beautiful.
Yeah.
Now I believe I'm beautiful. I actually believe I'm fearfully and wonderfully made by God. But back then, the words I used to hear was, you are ugly, you will never amount to anything. Look at you. Who will look at you? Especially after having 3 children. So abuse, domestic abuse, it doesn't have any boundaries. It reaches the confident, the less confident, just everyone. But when it hits you, it sort of disarms, especially us women. It strips away your confidence. And before you know it, you are just a shell. You are just walking and you are thinking, well, I'm alive today. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. And my God. Anyone told me I was beautiful back then, I would think they want something. Whatever they want, it's not there. All they will find down there is scars. So stay away from me.
Wow.
So during that time, I built walls. No one could hurt me. I would hurt them before they hurt me.
Wow. Thank you very much for asking that. I deliberately asked that question because I don't know, some people might be watching us or listening by online radio and they might be thinking, stupid woman that gets abused. You are too daft, for you to stay under a man, for him to be abusing you. It is not so. It is not true. No matter how beautiful you are or intelligent you think you are, there's some men out there that they just don't appreciate that, or they don't even see that, or probably they are broken themselves and they are looking for somebody to damage. So please watch out. And if you find yourself in such situation, please seek help. Thank you very much, Mark, for sharing that. You mentioned the word damage before in back then. If you have a child for a man that you're not married to, did you eventually marry this man, and do you have any children?
Do you know, the strange thing is that my brother, in his own words, said, look, there is no way we can discuss dowry or anything, because each time you come to us, my sister is pregnant with your child. So I told you before, for the 3rd time, we cannot discuss lobola. So that never took place. So he remained the father of my children, which is why it became easier for my family to be able to take me from away from the situation. Because when the time came when my family realized that, oh my God, she would die in that abusive situation. They actually called him, they sat him down, they said, look, we obviously have noticed that, you know, too many scars going on here. So what we've decided, when you found our daughter, she was in school, we're gonna take her back to school. Whatever your relationship, you can sort it out, because by law or by tradition or by any other standard under the law, she's not your wife. She is still our daughter. So for that, I'm always thankful to God, because had we gotten married, I don't know what would have happened, because my family wouldn't have had power to take me away from this situation.
Thank you very much. So if you do not have any legal thing binding you and that man, and he's abusing you constantly, I think you need to seek for help. Thank you very much, ma'am. Some people believe they have to wait until they are, you know, they are affected in abusive relationship before they seek help, or until something big happened. Were you affected, you know, were you affected in any way in that abusive relationship?
Oh my God, mentally, psychologically, physically, in any art or form, I was affected. And as I said, it was a very difficult situation. The thing is, anyone who's out there and you have gone through an abusive situation like I did, trust me, you need to seek help, because even when you come out, until you go through that healing process, until your womanhood is restored, it's going to be difficult for you, challenging for you to be able to hold down any relationship, because the next person who tries to have a relationship with you, if those wounds are not healed, it's like a bleeding dog, a dog that's bleeding. If you touch that thing, it's gonna yum you up, you know. So I just encourage that people seek help.
Thank you.
So you don't go too deep like I did.
Thank you very much. It's never too early or too soon or too late to seek help. That's what we're saying on this segment. Please, please, please seek help. Thank you very much. Let us fast forward the event. Then you came down to UK. Was it easy for you to get a job? And can you please share your experience of your first job with us?
Well, you know, when you come, you know, the people in the diaspora will relate to this. You hear all sorts of stories that, oh, you have to use somebody's name to work, you have to do this, that, and the other. But you know what? I really sit here and thank God, because when I came here, I think 2 weeks after, I got a job with a very established office. And that established office said, okay, you can't start working for us until we sort out your visa. So they took away my passport, all my particulars, and as a result, I was left without any ID.
Wow.
So anyway, I knocked the doors to say, well, I need a job. They will ask, well, have you got nationality? No. Have you got this, that? No. So I was honest enough with this one particular organization. I said, look, this is my situation. And the gentleman there is a British gentleman, said to me, wow, just for your honesty alone, I will give you a job, but make sure you sort out your all the necessary paperwork that is needed. I said, absolutely, you know. So I worked for this organization for 6 good months. After 6 months, he said, well, this thing is messing about with our papers. Sorry, we can't help you anymore. Oh my God, that was like the last straw for me.
Alden, before you go further, you know, I learned something from what you've just said. You know, sometimes we just need to come out clean. We just need to say the truth, no matter the situation that we find ourselves. You know, the Bible says it as well, that you will know the truth and the truth will set you free.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it might look a bit, but it will always set you free. Thank you very much for standing up for truth.
Thank you.
Then before you go to that deep side, you know, people want to take advantage of you, Mrs. Jackson, before they help you. I don't know about you, but some people, when they hear about your problem, they want to take advantage of you. And many people, you know, believe that it only happen in the third world countries, but your experience that you're about to share now happen here in United Kingdom. Can you please share with us, Mrs. Jackson, how some people want to take the advantage of you and want to dupe you with some money?
Well, it's amazing that certain things still obviously exist. I remember when all these doors were shut and I was obviously going through a deep depression. I think I was beyond depression. I don't know what comes after depression. That's deeper than depression.
Severe depression.
Yeah. I mean, I remember this gentleman came. We call them sangomas in my culture. I think some people say they are juju men. I remember the guy looking at me saying, oh, he asked my relative I was living with and said, oh, is this your sister? And she said, yes. I said, oh. The men started telling me that, oh, the father of the children has done all the jujus on her. This woman will never work, she will never get married, she will never... The man listed all the curses you can think of. So when all was said and done, I said, my goodness, you know what, you are right, that's the truth. All doors are shut anywhere. So I said, what did I need to do to be okay, to be, you know, normal like everybody else? He said, well, all I needed was £200 to cleanse me from this dark place that I was in. So I said, wait a minute, you just told me yourself that, you know, I'll never work. As things stand, I don't have a penny to rub with my fingers. So the man told me that, well, I have to pay the spirit. So when I have the £200, I must come back.
Wow.
For me that thing was like, what? So I realized that really I'm actually having to buy my life. All my life I've fought just to be alive. Now here I am. Oh, I just didn't want, I wanted out. I wanted whoever created me to tap
So did
back.
you give them that £200?
Oh no, of course I didn't have it,
Thank you.
I did not have it. I don't know what I would have done if I
you
had the money, but I had told myself that I would not buy my just to breathe from anybody else.
Thank you.
Then I wanted to die. That's when I really...
We're gonna go to that now. Thank you very much for sharing that, Mrs. Jackson. You know, I don't know what you are going through at the moment. I don't know what is it that life has thrown at you and you're thinking you need help. And you need help straight away. I want you to know that some people want to take advantage of that situation. And that is why you need to be very careful of who you share your feelings, your experience, your story, who you share your thoughts with. Because some people want to use that as an open door to get into your life. I can guarantee you that if you give them that £200, they will ask for more and more and more. And again, this £200 that we're talking about, a huge money back then.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not a small money. It's not like a token of money that you say, oh, it's chicken change. No. So we need to be very careful. And now you see how the table was turned around. Mrs. Jackson. Then.
Yeah, then there I was. Then I thought, that's it. Enough is enough. So I decided to go and call the gentleman, the white man or the British man, as you would say. I rang him up and I said, please help me. I really need this job. The gentleman hung up the phone on me and said, look, he said, look, this conversation has ended. I told you to sort yourself out and come back. You are a hard-working person, but we need that sorted out. Oh, then I lost it, because then I really wanted to know whoever made me, I had enough. I had enough. Then I was ready to take my life, and I asked this person. All I could relate back is what my grandmother told me. My grandmother was a spirit-filled, powerful woman of God, and she used to make some powerful declarations. She used to tell me that, you know, there is a God who's the beginning and the end.
Wow.
She used to say is Alpha is Omega. In my language say meaning he's the beginning and he's the end. She used to tell me that the heart of the kings is in his hands. So he is able to change any situation. When I cry, he hears me. Now in this situation I said, wait a minute. If it's true that when I cry you hear me, where were you when I was crying during the war? Why did you? So everything just came out. I just hated God so much. I said, look, this is it. For that reason, I want you to take your life back, because it's an embarrassment enough. So if you don't take my life, don't take your life back, I will do it for you. Because I felt that even he who created me must have been so embarrassed with this disgrace. I've disgraced my family, now my children. I just wanted out. So I told him, look, I'll wait for 3 days. If 3 days and there's nothing, then I will know I've got my permission to take my own life if you can't. But if there is one reason why you made me, if it's true that you made me, I need to know, one, that you've had this conversation, two, that there is a reason, there is a purpose why Fikelepi was born. That thing there, I was in a telephone booth. If anyone is reading my book, please, my book is on Amazon, Against All Odds I Survived. If you're reading my book, just look for the chapter of the Red Booth. Back then, you had to have coins to go on that phone booth and put the money. Trust me, there was a queue outside whilst I was throwing tantrum. I cried. I cried out. I said, if it's true, that means you are able to change this white man's mind, because my grandmother told me, we bring our strong reasons to this person who created us, and he will change things around. So day one, nothing happened. I'm just numb. My mind is made up. All I keep thinking is to my three beautiful angels, what will I say to them? My only thing was, well, if the person who made me has obviously now, he's nowhere to be found. He made my children, so he has to take care of the children, right? So I was trying to find the words, what will I say to my three beautiful children? I couldn't find the words, so I'm still trying to write, shuffle the paper, throw it and write another. You see, people who are truly suicidal, my sister, they don't go around, I want to do myself. If they say, I want to do myself, just ask them, how are you going to do? Just chill. You will see that this person is not serious. But the serious ones, it's quietly done, and before you know it, the person is gone. So that would have been me. So now, day two, I'm just like, this is over now. But it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I will never forget that day. A phone call came through, and that phone call was from the British guy who's hung up the phone on me. Remember, in the booth, all I asked was for him to show me a sign that one, he had me, and the purpose why I'm on earth. So yeah, I went to take the call. In my case, I didn't care whoever was on the phone, because you know what, in a day's time, all this will be over. You know, pick up the phone. It was him. Said, yes, what can I do for you? Of course, excuse my attitude, but you hung up the phone on me the other day, and I'm not going to clap now, because I don't know why you're calling.
You're calling me.
So he says, oh, Fikelepi, I've got something for you. Hey, what? So I said, could you say that again? He says, I've got some. I screamed. And I said, oh my slow down. It's only for 3 days. I'm like, what? 3 days? Me, I'm on day 2 here. You have no clue. So,
so you mean they called you back to come and get the job? And does that prove God's existence to you?
There and then, I'm telling you, I ran upstairs after I said, thank you. I ran upstairs to my little room, the family room I had been given. And I began to speak to him again. I said, "Sir, you heard me. So you answered me. This despite you heard." So now, obviously, my demands were, so now what next?
What's
I want to know the reason why. So, of course, I went to that wedding place. It was 5 of us. I will never forget that. My sister, I worked so hard. You know, day 1, day 2, look, I'm still breathing, but I'm still talking to the men upstairs. So what? You know what? This organization called the British men and said, "Look, the 5 people you brought, the 5 people you brought, we don't want them. The black girl, please bring her back. That's the killing bitch. She's hard working." So I was like, yes, you know. But the miracle in that is that this so-called manager of mine, from the moment I walked through those doors, the woman was darling me, darling, and I was thinking, she's weird. Just stay away from her. She don't know your story. She don't know that you're gonna die soon. She don't know your scars. If you tell her what you're going through, she ain't gonna want to know like anybody else. So the shutters were on, keep the woman away from you. But meanwhile, I'm still talking, you know. So what? So the job is here. I know you hate me, but what's the purpose? So this woman noticed that I wasn't bringing any lunch. So when it's lunchtime, I would go and sit somewhere. Guess what? I was still talking to God. Not even knowing that I was praying.
Wow.
So the following day, I think after 4 days or 5 days, she brought me sandwiches. I thought, oh my God, now she's really getting more weird. And she said to me, "Well, I bought you this." I said, "Oh, how much will it cost? Because I don't have no money." And she said, no, darling, I made them for you with my own hands. I said, "Really?"
Wow.
Me, you know, it just, her kindness took me by surprise, not knowing that she has that message and she's been praying for me with her sub member in her church. So every day there's all these people praying for me and I don't know. So it wasn't until she said to me, "God loves you." Oh my God. She touched a nerve. I thought, what gives her the audacity to tell me about love? I said, "Mama, you are like my mom's age. You can't tell me about love. Even you don't know what it means." Where was God when I was at war? Where was God when I listened? It all came out again. I cried and cried. And this woman said, "My darling, God loves you. He has a plan and a purpose for your life. He sent his son to die for you." You know, to cut the whole long story short, it was through this woman that I received the miracle of salvation, that I gave my life to Christ. And that I will never forget. Because for me, coming to Christ was a matter of life and death. I'm really pleased for people out there who like, "Oh, when I gave my life to Christ, it was like, oh, repeat this after me, and it's all alright." Oh my goodness, it wasn't alright with me. Because even after that, that old woman and her whole team worked hard to begin to tell me what it's like, how to pray, how to read the Bible. We'll take a verse, like we'll take the full armor of God. She will be on it the whole week. We're drumming on that thing until it sinks in. But it wasn't until she made me read Psalm 139, where it says, "Where can I go? Where can I flee from God? You know, if I ascend to the heaven, He's there." The thing that hit me was that God knew me before I was born, before my mommy and daddy. That thing gave me goosebumps. I said, "You mean all this time I suffered? This God knew me?" And my spiritual mom, then I called her my spiritual mom. She then told me that, "Darling, even in that darkest hour when you were being beaten up, He was there." The thing started humbling me. And then the other scripture, you know, you were saying I'm beautiful, but back then I didn't. If a male person said I was beautiful, I'd be like, okay, there we go.
What were you looking for?
Perfect, you know. Do you understand? But if it's a lady, I used to think, okay, they must want a favor, or they're just being polite, because I've been told over and over. You see, if you hear something over and over again, it sticks.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
But now I had switched. I was hearing the word of God, the voice of God over and over.
Wow.
I started realizing, well, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. So now I'm like, wow, you know, God, you are amazing. So that's my little journey of my salvation.
Thank you very much for that experience that you've shared with us. You know, I just have a few things to point out to our listeners and our viewers. I don't know who is that person that you're constantly seeing and is something about them is bothering you. What are you doing about it? Are you just looking at them? Or God is asking you to pray for that person, to stretch your hands out to them. You know, just telling them God loves you can melt their heart. That was what that woman said to our sister here.
Yeah.
God loves you, and that, you know, did miracles in their life. And go further, pray for them. Sometimes what we see today is, even when people share their feelings here, their pains with you, people laugh at them, people mock them, people talk behind their back.
Broadcasting.
You know, we need to turn all those into prayers and lift their hands up to encourage them, to motivate them, to make them to be who God wants them to be. I believe you can never forget that woman in your life.
Oh no, never, never. Up to now, sometimes I believe that she was my angel, because had I, you see, my 3 days became just 1.5 days. Even though I thought the miracle was finding the job, but it wasn't until I gave my life to Christ that I realized that it was the life of God that I found. You know, mercy found me, grace found me, and God has taken my mess and turned it into a message.
Thank you.
That I can't, it's too much for my head, my mind to chew. But my spirit, man, is just so rejoicing.
Thank you.
What God has done for me.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what you're going through right now. I just want you to know that joy comes in the morning. And mercy will find you, just as mercy has found Mrs. Jackson here. Mercy will find you. I just want you to help us share this video, because this woman of God here, she has not come all the way from London for a child's play. She has come here to bless us today. So please, if you have any prayer requests at all, you can send it in, and I believe she will uphold you in her prayers. Or if you have any, we've talked about abuse today, and we've talked about pains, and a lot more that you're still going to hear from her. Please do not touch that dial. Don't change that station, and help to share this video, because there are a lot of other people out there that needs to be healed, just as you are getting healed right now. Thank you very much for joining us. Wow, let us fast forward the events now.
Thank you.
Then you fell in love. I'm going to put it this way. You fell in love with your landlord. Were you a Christian then, or were you?
Oh my God! Yeah.
I'm using your word against you right now.
I know.
Can you share that?
Do you know? So, remember, I gave my life to Christ in 1989 through this my spiritual mom. So after this, I spent a year with this great woman, this mommy of mine. But apart from her, there was all this older generation, the old school, the Bible believing. You know, that's why I love my Bible. I mean, we have budget these days, but even now you can see my actual Bible. Yeah. I just love the Word of God. Now, I stayed with them until the year was up. My position came through in London. So as I moved to London, I lived in one little room, and believe it or not, my little room was burgled. So the burglar took my little things, my little stereo, you know, my little personal belongings, but he left his greasy gloves on my bed, and I thought, oh my God, if I was here, this person would have sexually assaulted me or killed me. I don't know what would have happened. So that caused me to find another place to live. So I went house searching, or room searching, should I say. So I looked and looked and looked through this estate agent. When I came back, I said, look, none of the rooms you showed me are okay. And then the colleague of that lady said, oh, there's only one landlord we haven't checked, and that's Mr. Colin Jackson.
Wow.
The only thing about Mr. Jackson is that he always wants to interview his tenants. When I heard that, I was like, me too, I want to interview him, because I want to know what he will do. If I'm backward, will he protect me? Will he give me my deposit money? So they were like, okay, let's see the room, let's let him call. They called Mr. Jackson. The first time I saw my husband was in an estate agent in London,
wow.
Southeast. And he sat there, he was so polite. I mean, so polite. So me, I was eagerly wanting to know, Mr. Landlord, so if I get back, what will happen? And he said, look, we have all the proper procedures, and we will protect you. We will obviously change the logs. And I said, what if I decide to leave? Will I get my money back? He said, absolutely. You have your right to get the money. Oh. And I was like, wow, where are you from and who are you? And he told me that, well, he was born here, his parents are from Jamaica. I said, never. Obviously, back then, the experience I had, yeah, you should never say it. I did, I felt ashamed. But anyway, so of course, I went to see the room. I was so happy with it. But 2 weeks later, Mr. Jackson's business partner came to our house and gave us all notice and say, everyone, we are bringing some doctors here. I was like, what? Even this Mr. Jackson is, you see, you can't trust anyone. Yes, I was so not happy with Mr. Jackson. But of course, he found me, he came to find me. He said, oh, I'm so sorry. My business partner did wrong. I had told him not to give you the letter because I was going to explain things to you and tell you that I have a room for you. I said, okay, you have a room for me where? And he said, I have a room for you in my house. I just like, what? In your house? Come on now, you know, are you feeling all right? So he said, oh yeah, my girlfriend will be there. When he said that, I melted. I was like, okay. So of course I went to see this house. I went to see the room. It was everything that I needed. But I know whenever on TV, on radio, I'm asked about this, people always say, Mrs. Jackson, you went out with your landlord. No, it didn't happen that way. Trust me, that man is a true gentleman. For 4 years, I lived in his house, got to know his family. He never said a word.
You wrote about him in your book.
Oh yes, yes.
So we need to leave it there.
Story, yes.
We need to leave it there. You have to go and read it. Yes. Go and read more about their love life in our book, Against All Odds. Yeah. Thank you very much. They eventually got married. I'll give you that clue. Yeah. That's why she's called Mrs. Jackson.
Yes,
but you need to read about that love story. It's so beautiful. I love it. So what we thank God for the journey of life and the lessons that life has taught you. So what, you know, when you were a single parent, before you finally find a man, you know, you got married to a new law, what lessons did you learn from being a single mother?
Well, just think of it. I felt like I learned, I think there's someone out there, maybe your children have been taken away, or maybe not by your choice. Please be rest assured that if you love your children, stay connected with them. I parented my children spiritually. I was far away from them, but the headmaster of every one of my children, the schools got to know me.
Wow.
On their birthdays, I will call the school in the morning. Those call mama cards. My husband will buy it for me. Even then, we were not married. When he sees me said, he will say, what's happening? Is it one of their birthdays? I will say yes. The men will just go out there and get me call mama card. And I'll call the school in the morning and say, look, what time is the break time? I would like to wish my son happy birthday. Please, can my son come to the headmaster's office so I can say happy birthday? So, I mean, I continued. I will pray for them. I will pray for them on the phone. I will affirm them. I did all those things. It wasn't easy because it felt like I was running 2 homes. Of course, I had to pay my bills here, but I was still 100% ensuring that my children had everything they needed. Meanwhile, while I was trying to prepare for them to come and join me. So yeah, it wasn't easy. That's the answer. But God made it easy for me.
Thank you. What I could get from what she said is bonding. You know, never let anything separate you from your children, which is the love of a mother. And again, she used the word affirmation, you know, prayer, you know, you pray for them. Don't let a distance be a barrier between you and your children. Wherever they are, always pray for them. Even if they are with you, you still need to pray for them, because people, the society have this belief that single parent children don't, you know, turn out well or don't make it in life. That is the lie of the devil. I'm a product of a single mother, and I know it's not the will of God. Right. Thank you very much for that. So, the children that we have been talking about, are they here with you in the United Kingdom, or they still back in Africa?
You know what? Of course, we finally, my husband here, my husband did all the dowry, by the way. He paid the lobola. That man is just a godsend.
Thank God for his life. If you're watching us, sir, thank you very much.
Oh, Colin, I love you. He knows I love him anyway. He's just amazing. There are a few gentlemen like that, to be quite honest. Now, I persevered for 10 years. It took us with my husband to be able to bring our children to rejoin us together with the 4 children I have with my husband. But here's the testimony. You see, when you have relationships that are divine by God, if God sends the right people in your life, please cherish them. And really, really, I mean that sincerely. Because this young girl lived with me here in the United Kingdom. She had come here to train to be a pastor. She was in a Bible school and she didn't have a home. I housed her. But by so doing, the 3 years she spent with me was 3 years of me praying and fasting for my children. Days I couldn't eat, thinking, oh, I wonder how they are. But look what God did. So when this young girl went back home to get married, when she got married, the husband bought a house. Where they had the house, my children were just in the other corner. They were just like a little walking distance.
Wow.
So now I had someone I could trust who was able to help me process all the paperwork that was needed for my children, for the passports, for them to come out of the situation they were in. So yes, 10 years later, we were able to bring the children over, miraculously actually. So whoever you're separated by from your children, I pray by the mercy of God that, you know, you are reunited with your children. Sadly for us, 10 years later, our children were blossoming. In fact, my daughter was about to go to university. Yeah, then tragedy struck again.
Okay. Not yet.
Yeah, okay.
Not yet. Thank you very much for that. Can you please give some tips to married couples now? Because you said something that you brought your children, your 3 children from Africa, with the 4 that you have with your husband, and all of you live in the same house.
Oh, absolutely. Now, here's the thing. Let's really know that every child is important and precious before God. And whatever happens between the adults, children should not be left to suffer whatever mistakes the adults have made. Please, may God give us the heart of compassion and the love for the children. I think couples need to just, whether it's stepchildren or half child and this, the families can come together. If there is so much love with God's love, I think it's a beautiful thing. So when the miracle happened that our children were all under the same roof,
Yeah.
honestly, it was 7 of them. So we had the 3 categories. We had the teenagers, so we had a rota in the house. So the teenagers had the chores to do, and we had the toddlers and the baby then, which is my son, who's at university now. He's 20 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, bless him. He's a great young man, honestly. Yeah, so, I mean, there was so much love. I think what kept us together as a family was we prayed a lot together. And because I think so many people were following my testimony, I was serving God like there was nobody. There was nothing else. I was sold out for Christ just as I am now, because many people don't really know where my passion comes from. I know where he found me, so you might not understand my soul. Yeah, but at a time, God did so many miracles. Like we had one person who just came to us and said, Mrs. Jackson, God told me that every 2 weeks I have to come to your house and check if the cupboards are empty.
Wow.
If they are empty, I need to go down, fill the cupboards.
Wow.
These cupboards should never be empty.
Wow.
So there were so many miracles that God did. That was like, wow. Where you were thinking, how am I going to feed 7 children? But God made it possible. So yeah, I mean,
Thank
parenting,
you.
God's guidance, really.
Thank you, and God will guide you. If you have, you've had children from previous relationships, don't have that scared, to say, oh, can they come and live with us? Like she said, God will give you a good husband that will make you to come together in one love and have a big family. Thank you very much. I thank God for your life, your testimony. I thank God for how He has brought you. She was about to say something before.
Oh, yes.
Then I had to stop her because I really wanted all your attention. Sometimes when life is rosy, when everything is beautiful and we think we have arrived, and we forget that the devil is somewhere watching, then the devil struck again.
Yeah.
And it shook your daughter.
Yeah.
Can you please share the experience? Take your time.
I will never forget this, but any parent out there who's lost your child, if your child has passed away, please, you have my heart is going out to you right now as I'm sharing this situation. So my daughter was a very vibrant young woman who was full of love, full of everything. It was 4 of them in that car, and this was on the M1. It's still there online, you can find it, the M1 crash in 2008. It was on the news, on everywhere, MTV. It was everywhere. So they ran out of petrol, 4 girls in the car, the hazard lights were on. Other cars could see them, but this one big lorry didn't see them.
Oh my God.
And this big lorry drives straight into my baby. I'm told that the moment it hit, her spirit just went. My daughter died instantly.
Oh my God.
It kind of, I was broken-hearted, but later on I realized that God, as soon as He knew, the angels must have been just waiting to take my daughter to heaven. I don't know why. She was only 22 years old. So you don't have an idea. All day long we're looking for paper. Where is patience? Where is patience? I remember her manager, she worked in Blue Water. Her manager rang me and said, Mrs. Jackson, please, we need patience. If you can get hold of her, tell her she's not in trouble. I'm just calling so many times. She called about 5-6 times. I'm calling like this because we are missing her. When she's here, when she's not there, it's all dull. We just want to know she's okay. Meanwhile, I was looking everywhere. I had that feeling of numbness. I can never explain it. All the time I'm looking for my daughter. My daughter is in a mortuary. It wasn't until 2 a.m. that by then we had been told that there'd been an accident there was helicopters, there was all sorts of things. But the 4 girls were taken to 2 hospitals. 2 girls went to one hospital and the other 2 to the other. My sister, I was being passed from pillar to post. I was being given this reference, that reference, until I got to the last hospital, which was meant to be the second hospital. I described my daughter, and this young girl said, yes, ma'am, I remember that there was an accident that was very serious, but I know one of the girls is in intensive care. Then I said, well, maybe that one girl is my daughter. So she left me on hold. She went away. When she came back, she said, Mrs. Jackson, I have inquired. I have looked everywhere in the records. Your daughter never made it, came to the hospital.
Oh my God.
So I said, okay, is there a third hospital then? The girl started just not coming straight. Eventually, another girl came to the phone. I don't know if it was a lady, because obviously it's on the phone. And she said to me, Mrs. Jackson, I am so sorry. I do not qualify to handle this conversation. Please stay where you are in your house. Somebody is coming to see you. That thing drove me mad. I said, what do you mean someone is coming? I just want to know where my daughter is so I can come to the hospital, pray for her, and bring her home. And the girl said, Mrs. Jackson, I'm sorry, I'm going to hang up the phone because I do not qualify to speak to you. My sister, that was it. And within 2 hours, there was a knock on the door. I remember the 2 tall policemen, they came, they sat down, and they told me that my daughter had died in a car crash. I just refused. I said, no, it can't be my baby. My baby is alive. Just take me to where she is. And they said, Mrs. Jackson, we could take you to her. We can't because the mortuary is closed. It's going to open tomorrow at 10 o'clock. My mind was, it was like I was in a horror movie. Someone is going to pinch me and tell me, wake up, you are having a bad dream. Indeed, 10 o'clock came. I remember my wife's pastor was there. By then, so many people in my house, people were starting to hear things on the news, on the papers, and people were just making their way to the house. 10 o'clock came. I was outside that mortuary in North London. All this time, I'm thinking, I'm going to go in there. It's going to be another young girl. I'm sorry for their family, but I know my baby is alive. And of course, when I got there, my baby was just there. It's almost as if she was like she was sleeping. It's almost as if she would open her eyes and say, hi, Mom. I just... At this time, I'm just like, Patience, how can you just go? How? So that was it. For 3 weeks, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I was out of it. I think now my mentees and the people I support were the ones knocking on my door, come out of the juve, come out. You taught us never to lose hope. Even you don't lose hope. I was like, what's the point? At a point, I was in the middle of writing my book, and I just didn't want to know. There was no point. But one day, my youngest son came to the room, alongside obviously my mentees on my case, you need to come out and lose hope. My son said, Mom, here is your tea. In my bedroom, because that's the place, that's become my home, my everything. I can't go out, I can't do anything. And he said to me, Mommy, I know Patience is going to call, I call her Pepe. Pepe is gone. Mommy, she's not coming back. But Mommy, we are still here, and we want our Mommy back. Oh, that thing hit me. It was like suddenly I was like, oh my God, please God forgive me. These children are grieving. I have shut everything, caught up in my grief. From that day, I said, son, I promise you, I don't know how long it will take, But I'm going to take one day at a time.
At a time.
And you will have your mother back.
Oh.
Please give me time.
Oh.
That was when I realized. But it took me a while to understand this. Any parent who's watching,
Yeah.
and maybe you've lost a child.
Mm-hmm.
When I say lost a child, sometimes some people have had a miscarriage.
Mm-hmm.
To them it's a child.
Mm.
And indeed it's a child.
Yeah.
No pain should be made smaller.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to tell you this.
Mm.
Even though as parents we feel it's our children,
Mm.
but we are actually stewards of these children.
Yeah.
It took me a while to realize that yes, she was my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Young as she was, the least I can do now as her mother
Mm-hmm.
is to do as much things I can do for girl child out there,
Oh.
for the girls in Africa. Let me tell you something. For every sanitary pad that I buy for the girls in Africa, I do it for my baby.
Oh.
When my daughter first had her periods,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there.
Oh.
She told me, Mom, she walked from one location to the other
Mm-hmm.
to find my youngest sister to tell her that look what's happening.
Mm.
And at the time she had told her stepmom who had told her to use newspapers.
Oh my God.
And
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You
I know that
tell
when people now, when you don't know my
the
story,
exactly.
my testimony,
Mm-hmm.
when you see me doing things all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
please just leave me be,
Mm-hmm.
because I know what God has done for me.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about that child. My daughter's first girl child she rescued was one of her best friends who was being abused at home.
Mm.
My daughter, one afternoon, she took her little friend home with herself, brought all her little belongings and said, Mommy, this is so and so. She can't go back home
Mm.
because she's being abused.
Abused.
You told me when someone is in trouble, I have to
Uh-huh.
help them. Of course, we had to tell the social service and
Mhm.
everybody, and this child, it turned out that the authorities knew about her, and they said to us, if the family is happy, she can stay with us.
Mm.
That child lived with us for almost 18 months.
Mm.
In my house, she learned, she joined, you know, the rota I told you about. This young girl was on the rota as well.
Oh.
Sophia is washing up today.
Oh.
And in that house, up to now,
Mm-hmm.
that's where she learned how to be loved. But this was as a result of the kind of young woman my daughter was.
Mm.
So for every girl that I touch their lives in Africa, it's the legacy of my daughter, as much as it's the fulfillment of a calling.
Mm.
You see, the work I do,
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's not a feel-good,
Mm.
or I'm doing charity. You know, some
Mhm.
people do it so they can be seen that they are doing.
Mhm.
For me, it's deeper than
Than
that.
that.
It's a calling, and
Mhm.
there's so many other reasons.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. I can feel your pain. You know, I'm so sorry for your loss, and I believe she's with the Lord at the moment.
Yeah.
And the Lord, she's praising God. That's all we're gonna do. Just
Yeah.
praise and worship God. And I
Mhm.
believe that's what she's doing. And you're gonna see
Yeah.
her.
I
You
believe
will
that.
see
Oh,
her.
that keeps me going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
will
know.
see
I
her.
know she's watching me. I believe that. Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe you've been affected by what our sister has shared now. Probably you've just lost a child, or you are in the process, or they've just give you that news, and it's not pleasant. You know, it's never pleasant, and it will never be pleasant. But I just want to know that God loves you,
Absolutely.
and He got
Absolutely.
you in His
Absolutely.
palm. He's written your name in His palm,
Yeah.
and He's got your back.
Yeah.
He will never leave you nor forsake you. That's what He said.
Yeah.
And He knows the end from the beginning.
Yeah.
So do not think He has left you, that He did not know what you're going through now. He knows exactly where you are. And He knows what you're going through now.
Yeah.
And He is a healer. and He's going to heal you. He is the Prince of Peace, and He will give you His peace, even as you're watching us right now. I believe He has given our sister here peace, and that's why she's able to share this. If she doesn't have that peace, she won't be able to share this right now.
I couldn't leave my house later on, share nothing. But now I know that, I realize that we are all on this earth, we are passing by. My daughter had 22 years. I don't know how long I've got, but all I know is that I will not die before my time. I mean, we're building a school in Malawi. Please God, I don't want to come home until I finish all those things you told me to do.
You wouldn't.
Only that telephone. You wouldn't. I am wanting.
You don't need to pray about that, Ma. Do you know why I know? Our Lord Jesus Christ only lived for 33 years on earth, and I believe He died empty. When He finished His assignment, because on the cross I knew He said it. He said it is finished.
It is finished.
So He finished all His assignment, and that's when He can go. So before any one of us, you watching me or listening to me, before you can go back to the Father, to your Maker, it is after you finish everything He has deposited in you. And that is why I tell people, time wait for nobody. You have to start doing it. Don't postpone. Do not postpone. Start doing whatsoever He has deposited in you. Thank you very much for sharing us. I never thought we were going to go on that emotional phase, but it makes viewers to know that it's real. We're not cooking up stories here, and I believe that God that has healed our sister will heal you in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you. Then you finally took the courage to go to church. And there's some people stigmatize it. Did they say any comment? Did they pass comment?
Oh God, yeah. The first comment I had, I'll never. It took a lot of courage to, one, to step out of my house, and two, to get to church. And I remember this woman greeted me and said, "Oh, I heard what happened." And then she looked at me and she said, "This is what happens when you don't pray enough."
Oh my God.
I'll never forget that. That drove me back to my shell, to like, what? I cried. I said, "God, you see. Outside there, it's hot.
It is.
It's hot pepper.
It is.
You meet all kinds of people. But I thank God for my home family church. Obviously, apart from just one person, by that I mean my immediate family as my pastors, my pastors' wives, my prayer partners who stood by us as a family.
Wow.
I'm really truly grateful.
Thank you. I want you to please help advise, some people or other people that are going through similar situation that we've talked about different things today, and some people are stigmatizing them, just like what somebody passes you, that they are not praying enough. Some people, they have a child with disability, they think it's a sin that allow them to have that, or they just lost their husband or their wives. They're thinking it's because they're not praying enough. Can you please advise such people?
First of all, I want to say, if you're watching me and challenging things have happened to you, bad things do happen sometimes to best people, and there is it doesn't choose, tragedy don't choose a color, just as we were saying earlier about abuse and that. Whatever your odd is, all I know is that against all odds, you too can stand. Listen, there is a God in heaven. I am the true living testimony of that. There is a true God. Imagine where He found me and where I am now. He took my mess and He turned it into a message. Listen, you don't need to listen to people. When all fails, please, by God's grace, look to heaven and speak to God. When all fails, God is the answer in our lives. At least in my case, that much I know. If you are in trouble, domestic violence and that, don't suffer in silence. You are stronger than you think. Please please, time on earth is very short. You cannot suffer another day. Find help. Go and find. There's victim support, there's refuge. There is Against All Odds still standing. We are very visible on social media. In fact, we've been nominated for I think it's National Diversity Award, and we're shortlisted for that. The amount of work that we're doing, please just get in touch. Get in touch with somebody. Don't suffer in silence.
Thank you.
God loves you.
Thank you. You know, I can't count how many times you have mentioned the word Against All Odds. And that's the topic of our topic today. How did you come up with that name? And what does it stand for? What do you do?
Wow.
You know, a lot of people are watching and they want to know, this woman, Mrs. Jackson, Against All Odds, what is it all about?
Well, after all was said and done, now I think some people who are watching me can now realize why I carry myself the way how I do. Because before, all the odds, you know, the labels that are carried, you are a failure, we carry so many labels. You are a single lady, you are this, that, and that. Be inside that person when you remove all these labels. Against all odds, you too can stand.
Wow.
So the book is Against All Odds. I survived because when you look at the odds, as we have mentioned, outlined them. The book firstly carries a message of hope, a message of restoration, a message of forgiveness, because when we come out of these tragedies, we are bitter, we are looking for somebody to blame. And then Against All Odds still standing, we are an organization. Our aim, we are on a mission to rebuild lives, to restore hope, and to restore dignity. As I said, when tragedy comes, when you come out, your dignity is completely wiped away. So we do that through education, social development, and health. So we are currently in Malawi. In Malawi, we are currently building a school for primarily for girls who've been rescued from early marriages. And in Zimbabwe, we deal with girls and women and girls who are, you know, going through domestic violence or any of the things similar to what I've been through. So in Zambia, it's disabled women. So please, if you want to support us, we have only one event once a year.
I was going to ask, April. You've said so many things, and if people want to support you, how can they do that?
Well, please, please, this I'm begging you. Based on what you have heard today, I am just asking you to support us. Even if you pick up one child, we have a website which is www.aosuk.org. You can Google myself, Fikela P. Jackson. I'm sure our details at the bottom there. Please do so. Or we have a page on Facebook. Please like it. Most importantly, for every mission trip we have done since 2013, all our footage is online. So please go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Against All Odds, mission to Malawi, mission to Zambia, and so on and so forth. Otherwise, please reach out, inbox me or email us. Just reach out to us. And thank you in advance for helping us. You can sign up to support us on a monthly basis, or you can pick up 3 girls or 3 students, whatever you feel you can help us with. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming to bless us today. I do really, really appreciate you, and I wish you a safe journey back to London. Wow, we come to the end of today's show. What can I say? It's been so insightful, so informative, so educative, and so body and soul lifting as well. I believe you've been lifted up. I believe you've been encouraged. I believe you've been, you know, shown the next stage of life, or how to get to the next stage of your life. I have been blessed, and I believe you have been blessed as well. Yes, if you still want to get my book, Be Beautiful. Yes, we've said anything. When you were saying she doesn't see any beauty about her and about her upbringing, I was like, oh my God, this woman read my book, but she hasn't. That was me as well. So you need to get this book in order for you to have a renewal of mind. Renew your mind. Anything at all that life has thrown at you, you can see beauty in that thing. And that's what this book is all about. It's going to help you to see beauty in everything. In the ashes or in that mess, you will see a message in it. Just as our sister has been saying as well all through today. And my movie, Sailing Point, if you want us to come and premiere it, again in your event, your church, your activities, community group, anywhere at all, you just get in touch with us on 079 603 91983. And if you want to get my book, you can get it on my website, www.beautifulmind.org, online.org, or on Amazon as well. It's on Amazon, is Kindle as well, so you can get on Amazon as well. Wow, Omega Fire Ministry International presents Open Heaven on the 26th to 27th of August 2019, and they have two sessions. The morning session is 9 a.m. and the evening session is 5 p.m. Guess who is coming all the way from Nigeria to United Kingdom? Apostle Johnson Suleiman is coming Manchester, yes, and the venue is Manchester Academy, Manchester University Student Union, Oxford Road, Manchester, M13 9PR. For more information, please contact 079 485 18077, 074 432 3688, and 079 844 966 93. I can guarantee you that wherever there is open heaven, the blind will see. Come and be restored. Come and let heaven be opened unto you. What can I say after today's show? Wow, I have been blessed. And I want to remind you, I know she has said it, and again I'm going to leave you with it as well. You can stand against all hard. Thank you very much. I want to say thank you to my producer, AY, the ambassador of Beam TV, Peace and Joy, for putting all of this together. I do really appreciate you all. And for you all out there, you know I always say this and I will say it again. Without you watching us or listening to us, there is no beautiful mind. So I do really appreciate your time. So please help us to share this video. Do not forget, because I believe somebody is going to be liberated after watching today. Thank you very much. I do really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye for now. Until next week. I remain your host, Adeyinka Adeomi. See you soon. Bye.
Thank you.